This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Devin welcoming you to a sports catastrophe birthday boy. There's no on this day today, unfortunately. But anyway, the birthday boy today is born July 2nd. He is 58 years old. He is a baseball legend from Cuba, who was one of the best power hitters in the game, winning Rookie of the Year, MVP, a six-time All-Star, and 2 World Series rings. He became the first man to be 40-40, 40 home runs, 40 steals in one season. He was a legend. Unfortunately, in the later part of his career, he was injured. Maybe it was steroids, maybe it was just something else. But anyway, Canseco was a legend and all that. He's the first player to hit 30 home runs for 4 different teams: Oakland, Texas, Toronto, and Tampa. But was surpassed by Fred McGriff and Gary Sheffield. Unfortunately, his book in 2005 caught a lot of baseball off guard and was not really that happy. But anyway, he is Jose Canseco from Havana, Cuba. Havana. The weird thing is that Jose Canseco has a twin. That's right, he's a twin. His brother Ozzy, I have his card with the Oakland Athletics. But yeah, Ozzy Canseco. Anyway, Jose Sr. left his job and left Cuba after Fidel Castro became power. The family was actually allowed to leave Cuba in 1965 and got to Miami. Canseco was drafted in the 15th round of the 1982 baseball draft out of high school. He would play in the minors and all that. And he had it was a natural prospect and all that. People thought he was the next Mickey Mantle. Anyway, Canseco was a late September call-up for the A's in 1985. He made his debut striking out against the Baltimore Orioles. But he got his first hit off Ron Guidry of the Yankees, September 1985. Ron Guidry was still around? His first home run was off of Jeff Russell, September 1985. He would play 29 games in 1 month, hitting 5 home runs with 96 at-bats. Not bad. He was good. So he was picked to be the top rookie in 1986. And he would bat third and fifth in the batting lineup. He looked pretty good. He had a chance to be the RBI leader as a rookie. But unfortunately, he went over 34 with batting and had 14 outfield errors. Nevertheless, he got 33 home runs, which was 4th in the AL, 2nd in the RBI crown, and he actually won the Rookie of the Year, defeating Wally Joyner for the crown. So it looked pretty good. So McGuire and Canseco both were huge. So McGuire and Canseco were the Bash brothers and all that. McGuire became the second straight Oakland A to have the Rookie of the Year. But Canseco and McGuire had a fearsome tandem. They were the Bash brothers. All that. He did pretty good and all that. There was a lot of comparisons with McGuire and Canseco, both being under 25. The best young batting duo in years, with Mental and Maris and Aaron and Matthews there. Canseco brashly said in 1988 he would hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases, and people thought, yeah, right, stealing bases is not that easy, you know that. The home run thing was easy for him, in a way. On September 18, 1988, he hit his 40th home run, and then 5 days later against the Brewers, he stole 2 bases to get his 40th steal. So he was right, 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. He was a big all-around superstar. Oakland looked good, and Oakland should have won the 1988 World Series, but the Dodgers somehow, in some way, screwed them over in 5 games. However, Canseco hit a famous grand slam in Game 1 of the World Series. Yes, that was the Kirk Gibson game, but Canseco hit a home run that went crunk off the camera operator's off the camera in center field. If you see the replays of it, it was amazing how the camera tilted down and then the ball went off of it. The problem with Canseco's grand slam was his only hit of the series. Weird. But anyway, he was still named AL MVP because they pretty much don't put postseason into their voting thing. He won unanimously. In 1989, he actually had to miss some time because of a broken wrist in the preseason. He was actually voted to be a starting outfielder for the AL All-Star team, despite the fact he didn't even play a game in the first half. But he couldn't play. He was replaced by Ruben Sierra. Canseco did fantastic for himself. He would hit 17 home runs in 65 games. If he was playing for a full season, it would have been 40 home runs, 130 RBIs. The A's won the World Series in 1989, sweeping the San Francisco Giants. However, Canseco's postseason highlight was not the World Series. It was the ALCS against the Blue Jays when he hit a moonshot into the fifth deck, becoming the first player in history to launch a ball into the fifth deck at Skydome. And Skydome was only opened in June. So, yeah, it was amazing what he did with that home run. And a lot of people said if the roof wasn't closed, it would have went out of the stadium. Canseco had some issues and all that, especially in the World Series. He was 1 for 11 in the World Series. It was actually benched in Game 4. Canseco was made to be a pinch hitter in the bottom of the ninth, but he grounded out. Canseco did win the Silver Slugger Award, so that's good. Canseco still did some good production. Unfortunately, though, the home fans were not really that happy and all that. When he played for Oakland, he was pretty good. He still has the record for the Athletics franchise for most postseason home runs with 7. Not even McGuire can do that. Canseco ran out of luck, and Oakland ran out of patience, so they decided to trade him to Texas, August 1992, for Ruben Sierra, Jeff Russell, Bobby Witt, and cash. The move actually worked for Oakland, as Sierra did pretty well for the A's, getting them to the ALCS against the Blue Jays. And fortunately for me, they lost. It was shocking because Canseco was actually 243 with 22 home runs, 72 RBIs. He looked good, and the A's were comfortably in front, but they needed pitching down the stretch. Everyone was caught by surprise. Canseco would feel at home joining Latino stars Rafi Palmeiro, Juan Gonzalez, and Pudge Rodriguez. So that worked out for him. Unfortunately, 93, his first full season in Texas, was bad. On May 26, 1993, in Cleveland at Cleveland Stadium, Carlos Martinez hit a fly ball Canseco lost sight of, and the ball bonked him in the head and went over the fence. It was one of the great bloopers of all time and all that. So Canseco missed it. The worst part about things was that 3 days later, on May 29th, he actually wanted to pitch against Boston at Fenway Park. He injured his arm and couldn't really play. So he only played 60 games in that year, 10 home runs, 46 RBIs. But Canseco still came to his power status and all that. He would be a DH for the Rangers. And he did pretty good. Canseco actually was on pace to hit 45 home runs and get 130 RBIs, which would have both been personal bests and all that. He was named Comeback Player of the Year in that year. But Canseco was traded by Texas to Boston for Otis Nixon and Luis Ortiz. So Canseco didn't really do that well for the Red Sox and all that. Canseco thought he was good and all that. He would only play 198 games in his 2-year tenure with Boston, with only 43 home runs combined. Anyway, he would go to Oakland in a trade for John Waston. It was shocking because the A's front office said that ticket sales were the highest since before the 94 lockout. Canseco did very good for himself. He had hit 18 home runs for the All-Star game, but he had back injuries, and McGuire was traded to St. Louis because Oakland just couldn't afford it and all that. Canseco, a little bit after that, missed the last 30 games of the season. Canseco thought that the front office shut him down because he would have had minimum plate appearances that would have triggered a renewal of his contract and all that. But his home run put him fourth all time in Oakland history at the time, behind Reggie Jackson, Jimmy Fox, and Mark McGwire. Canseco would sign a free agent deal with the Blue Jays. So it's like, wow, Toronto's getting Jose Canseco, the guy who burned them 9 years ago. He would play both left and right field, not being a DH and all that. He had a projected season, 24 home runs in the first half with 21 stolen bases. It's like, wow, we're getting a very healthy Jose Canseco. The Jays might do well and all that. Canseco had to wear 44 instead of 33, which he always wore because Ed Sprague was on the team. But after Sprague was traded to Oakland, Canseco decided to wear 33. The Blue Jays wanted Canseco to ease up on his health and basically said, don't steal bases. Canseco could have had a 30-30 season, but he was short by one stolen base. On July 19th, he hit 2 home runs against Andy Pettitte, which was hit a grand slam, his 6th of his career. It was amazing to see that. Actually, that July 19th game will actually be a sports catastrophe on this day. So stay tuned in 17 days. He played 151 games, his most since 1992. 46 home runs, which was a career high, and 3rd in the AL. Well, it was the year of the home run. 107 RBIs, but the batting average was not there. And he struck out too many times. Blue Jays gave Canseco a chance, wanting him to stay a 1-year contract, but he refused. So he went to Tampa Bay. Despite hitting 46 home runs, not many people wanted to sign him. So he signed with Tampa. The contract actually included a clause that said if he was in the Hall of Fame, he would be depicted as a Tampa Bay Ray. Well, we'll see about that. And he was named to the AL All-Star team as a starting DH. First time. Unfortunately, days before the Mid-Summer Classic, he was injured, so Rafi Palmeiro had to take a spot. He had back surgery problems. He did hit 34 home runs, though. Canseco actually had 303 home runs, despite missing over 300-plus games due to injuries. Jose Canseco won the MLBPA organized Big League Challenge Home Run Derby at Cashman Field in Las Vegas. There was a field of 12 sluggers, and Canseco won the tournament, beating Rafi Palmeiro. That would be the inspiration for Triple Play 2001 to have for their PlayStation 2, well, PlayStation 1 and PC things, Big League Challenge, that you could have a home run challenge and all that. They even did Extreme Big League Challenge for Triple Play 2001, which sell targets and all that. And weird things. Anyway, Canseco was re-signed by Tampa Bay. And they actually made an effort. Fanny Castillo and Greg Vaughn were coming to the team. Unfortunately, injuries would cause trouble. Canseco was traded August 7th after, well, he was off waivers from the Yankees. So he did okay and all that. The Yankees were caught off guard, saying, why do we need this guy? Because they had Dave Justice and Glenn Allen Hill. But Brian Cashman, the GM, did that because the A's, Red Sox, and the Blue Jays, all teams that Canseco used to play for, were trying to tear down the Yankees, catch those pesky Yankees, so they needed Canseco. Canseco was not part of the Yankees roster for the ALDS or ALCS, but was given a World Series roster spot against the Mets. Canseco was put in the game in Game 4 in the 6th inning to face Glennon Rush as a pinch hitter. It was his first time at the plate in a World Series in 10 years. He struck out But despite that, Canseco earned his World Series ring. Canseco was given free agency, and the Angels said they decided to do that. So the Angels got him for spring training, but the Angels cut him after spring training. He ended up losing the Angels DH spot to Glenn Allen Hill, who played for the Yankees in 2000. But Glenn Allen Hill was basically released by the Angels. So Canseco went to the Independent League with Newark. And then the White Sox took a chance on him. He would play for the White Sox and had hit his 462nd home run at age 37. Canseco was given a chance to play for Montreal, who were owned by Major League Baseball. And the Expos wanted him to play left field and DH during interleague play. Unfortunately, he was released prior to the regular season. The Expos did say that Jose can be part of their AAA squad, but he declined. He would sign a minor league contract for the Charlotte Knights, that's Chicago's affiliate. But after finding he couldn't hit anymore, he decided to retire. So he went to the Independent League for many years. Of course, people said that his biggest problem was his anabolic steroids. In 2005, he admitted to using them in a tell-all book, Juiced, Wild Times, Rampant Roids, Smash Hits, and How Baseball Got Big. Canseco would claim that many players, 85% of them, took steroids. And he specifically identified Mark McGwire, Rafi Palmeiro, Jason Giambi, Pudge Rodriguez, and Juan Gonzalez fellow steroid users, and said he injected them personally. Giambi would admit to using steroids, and so did McGwire. Palmeiro was caught, even though that he pointed that finger at the hearing, saying at the congressional hearing, saying, "I did not use steroids. Period." Palmeiro was given a 10-day suspension for testing positive for steroids in 2005. Anyway, Jose Canseco was cited in the Mitchell report to using steroids and all that. He wrote a sequel to Juiced. It was called Vindicated, about a clarification of names that should have been mentioned in the Mitchell report. Canseco did claim that his 98 stint with the Blue Jays was drug-free because he didn't want to use steroids while handling breakup-induced depression. Anyway, Jose Canseco was part of The Simpsons in that famous episode Homer at the Bat. Anyway, he was part of The Surreal Life. Surreal Life. Of Omarosa. Russell Pinko Peppa, Janice Dickinson, and Carrie Hart. In 2007, he only got 6 Hall of Fame votes, not reaching the 5% necessary to stay on the ballot for another year. So the veterans community will have to put him in the Hall of Fame if they wanted to. Jose Canseco tried to fight and all that, but failed miserably and all that. Canseco was actually part of the Celebrity Apprentice, but quit the show because of his father's ailing health. Yeah. Canseco had a lot of issues to do with his family and all that. And lost to Choi Hung Man in dream fighting. Yeah, so amazing. So yeah, Jose Canseco is controversial, but still a decent person, and that's what we need to do. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.